Before we talk about today, let's take it back to where it all started about 11 years ago, when I was walking through downtown for the first time. We were deep in the throes of the recession, and there was boarded up storefronts, and there was no cars, and there was buildings that had no tenants. And the ones that did, it was lawyers, which might explain why it felt like all the energy had just been sucked out of downtown. I don't think there's any here. Anyhow, I didn't come back to downtown Salisbury for another 3 years until we purchased 100 North Division Street and completed a small renovation on the building. About the time that we finished up, a young and new and energetic mayor was elected to the city of Salisbury with a grand idea for what downtown could be. And I saw the vision immediately. So we began moving a little quicker and started renovating several of the other properties in downtown. We were taking pride in seeing some of the previously vacant and dilapidated buildings come back to life. And then one day, I got a call about a new property that needed a complete gut rehab. The person who called me is an investor of mine, and I don't play favorites with my investors, but this person would certainly be in the running if I did. And he was actually the first investor, somebody that took a chance on me, the first person out of my immediate family. And I am thrilled to have been investing alongside him, Dr. Arby, for the past 9 years. And I recall the phone call went something like this. Hey Nick, I bought us a building at an auction today. Oh, where is it? He said, it's on Division Street, it's about 100 yards from downtown Salisbury, and it's the first house in Newtown. I said, well, okay, that's a pretty good location, but what did you pay for the building? He quickly responded, 20 grand. Because at that moment, I knew that we had a very large construction project, at least for that time, in front of us. But from that phone call, the Newtown Edge Apartments were born. And about $500,000 later, and we completed our repairs, and that building was ready for 11 Salisbury University students to move into. I didn't realize it at the time, but that investment was one of the most pivotal because it showed us that students at Salisbury University wanted to live in downtown. So when we began looking for our next project, I decided I wanted to build another apartment building, likely for student housing, but this time I wanted to build up. Some of you might already know, but those who don't, one of my life goals is to build and construct skyscrapers. I believe that they are a symbol of economic growth and prosperity and dreaming of a brighter future as they literally change perceptions and become new landmarks in the cities with which they are constructed. So nearly 4 years ago, I can't believe it's been that long, but 4 years ago I started dreaming up the grand vision for constructing the tallest building in the city of Salisbury. The city was already doing its part. They were renovating the streets, they had been focusing developmental efforts on the core, and yet I still knew many people in this community who hadn't been in downtown in years. Frankly, they would tell me how they would just drive by on Route 50 or Route 13 and would hardly even glance at downtown. And many of them had no idea about all the progress that had already been made. So during the planning process, I remember dreaming about constructing a building that couldn't be ignored. A building that needed tall cranes and construction equipment to ensure that people would take notice. And based on all the comments I see on social media, some good, some bad, the individuals who reach out, and some complete strangers, like the Snow Hill Model Train Club, who's going to be building an inch-perfect replica of the building to include in their display. I'm pretty confident that we met our goal of making sure that this building is not being ignored. Now, I would be mistaken if I didn't take a moment to acknowledge some of the people who helped make this project happen. To the Mentis Capital team, who continue to push every day to make this a reality, I appreciate it. Michael Sullivan, I don't know if he's here, but he completed the planning and zoning requirements 3 times for this project and never lost hope that it would get across the finish line. Julia Glanz, Andy Kittro, Dave Ryan, Bill Chambers, Jackie, Mike Dunn. Thank you guys for being a receptive audience on that day when we were in the middle of a pandemic and new legislation needed to be passed. Were you there, Bill? Yes. Bill? I don't want to forget you. Thank you for being a receptive audience as well. I looked up and I was like, I saw that face on that day, but we had to pass bold legislation that would help get projects like this out of the ground. Not only were you willing to listen, but thank you for taking action and moving the ball forward afterwards. Jake Day, thank you for spearheading the redevelopment efforts of our downtown and our community at large, and for being a staunch advocate for this project from day one, even while you were overseas. And I think that it's safe to say that without your hard work, without your leadership, this building would not be here today. Tricia and Mark Fleisler, thank you for helping to navigate the ups and downs of the project as they continue to come, and for throwing your time, effort, and resources behind the Ross to make it a reality. It's an absolute pleasure to work with you. To the architects, many of you, to the engineers, the construction crews that have been here from the very beginning. I remember Brendan Frederick was the first person out there in the alley. He said, I want to tear it down and go up. He's like, okay. And we started the process at that point. But anyhow, to all of you guys, the construction crews who have been a part of the planning, the construction, and bringing this vision to life, thank you for doing it in a safe and professional manner. To all of the city, county, and state representatives, especially those of you who took slings and arrows for this project. I know that there were many of them. But thank you for ensuring that Salisbury is open for development. To all of the investors who took a risk on a bold new project in a tertiary market, the significance of your investment is not lost on me, and I will continue to work tirelessly to ensure you see a return on your decision. Bill Otis, I was saddened to attend your funeral today, and may you rest in peace. Thank you for calling every couple of weeks to check in on the project and to make sure that I was doing all right. Your stories, and support helped keep me going. Now I know I'm missing numerous people. But please know that I remember all of your help and your support. But I can't move on without talking about one person. And that is my business partner, David Harkins. I think you were the unsung hero of this building. It's hard for me to put into words the magnitude of your contribution. And in my mind, Harkins Construction is the only company you should use for construction in this town. And that's not only because you're at the helm, but it's because you've built an environment that is down to earth, trustworthy, transparent, and you filled it with people who know how to work hard and can get the job done. Thank you for getting behind the Ross. I really appreciate it. Happy early birthday. Tomorrow, I hope it's a good one. And lastly, I would like to look to the future. Soon this building will be done and over 350 students will be in downtown. And we will have permanently created a link between Salisbury University and the core of our city. But as you look around in downtown, you might notice that our work is not done. There are numerous parking lots, there's parcels of land along the river, there's underutilized properties. And even with the high construction prices, the rising interest rates, and the uncertainty about the economy, now is the time to make the plans to make sure that those projects move forward. We will see the other side of these issues, and the developers who put in the work now will be able to reap benefits on the other side. As developers and builders of this community, that does not mean that we stand in front of pretty pictures and pretend that these buildings will happen. You see, ego pictures and dreaming alone do not make buildings. You have to work hard, you have to have humble confidence, and you have to have a commitment to doing what you said you were going to do. And so I'd like to challenge all of the other developers in this town, at this time, put forward and invest the necessary resources and substantial effort behind building the next chapter of our community. Together, I believe that all of us can build one of the most enviable historic downtowns in the country, and I am very optimistic about our future. Thank you all for coming. In a minute, we will get a chance to go up to the top, take in the views, but I'd like to bring to the podium a man who does not need an introduction, our mayor, Jake Dix.
Let's hear it one more time for Nick Simpson and this development team. And look, Nick, I want to give you a little piece of advice that Lily, my 7-year-old daughter, gives me. She points to these things and says, "Daddy, you know that's not real life." And she's referencing social media. So don't worry about those comments. It's not real life. They don't matter. You let them build the inch perfect replica of that building, and that is a symbol. What a powerful symbol of how important this landmark is going to be, not only for our city, and not only across the lower shore, but across this peninsula. I am so proud of what you've accomplished here. This is a little boy who dreamed of being an architect's dream, to stand in the downtown of his city and see once and for all us rise. And in my lifetime, I haven't seen that in the center of our city. And in Bill Otis's lifetime, he saw new buildings rise here, but most of us have not. And we might have dreamed dreams. I have well, I don't know if I should admit this story, but I'm going to tell it to my Becker Morgan Group friends over here. One time when we were cleaning out in the office there, second floor, it was all empty files, or his files, all empty space, just storage. And I was cleaning out, and they were throwing things away, and they threw away this beautiful watercolor of a building that was going to go on what is Lot 15. I know the city folks know where I'm talking about, Lot 15. So on Lot 15, there was going to be an assisted living facility, and it was beautiful watercolor. And they tossed it in the garbage. I took that there. I still got it. It's in the mayor's office. And I will tell you, we can dream. We can dream beautiful dreams. But it takes those professionals, the architects, the engineers, the folks who are running the plumbing, the fire protection, and the electric, and pouring this concrete to make it real. You all have made it real. This building, as we're about to stand on the top of, is a symbol that this city is on the rise. And I, for one, believe that it takes more than the dreams of elected officials to turn that into reality. I'm glad that you believe that we have created an environment that not only you, but other developers should invest in. It takes that. It takes competition, that sense of competition that we each must bring our best, our A game, into the center of our city if it's really going to be what we all know it's capable of being. And so, between Bill and Jack and Michelle and myself and our city team, many of them are here, by the way. You got Alan and Amy from the Arts, Business and Culture Department who are ready to open their doors to the 400 students that are going to live here.
Yes, we are.
Yes, you are. I know it. Down right at the Downtown Visitor Center. But it takes that. Yes, it takes us. It takes us changing policy, changing the laws, being ready to make this a place that you don't have to go through planning and zoning 3 times. Okay, listen. And on that point, I want to be clear. That is not an indicator of dysfunctional government. It was a long process, and the vision changed multiple times. But ultimately, you built the right building or buildings for this place, and it took all that hard work. And at the end of the day, if we create that environment, people who believe are the ones that make it happen, and you did. And I'm so grateful for that. So, I will share with you something I shared at the State of the City just a couple of nights ago. And it's this, that if you rewind in time to when Bill Otis was renovating the city center, or 30 years before that, when beautiful, and I've still got a copy of it, downtown vision plan was created. If you go back in time, and probably 20 years before that, 20 years before that, and you look at various stages in the redevelopment of our city, what you can rest assured is that they all had a vision in their mind that shared common symbols of a resurgent Salisbury. And the most salient image that I can think of is that tower crane rising above this city, and people hard at work on every floor all the way up to the tippy top, building this thing with their hands. And now that symbol is real. It's here and we are living it. So believe that this moment is the moment that generations have dreamed of for this city, and we will continue to rise thanks to people like you. Congratulations. Now let's get up to the tippy top of this building and top it out, all right? Bravo.
All right.